For more than 3,000 years, the Galactic Navigation Network had never failed. Every trade ship, explorer, and rescue fleet trusted the same living star map. It updated every hour using billions of satellites spread across known space. No captain questioned it. Then, on one ordinary morning, everything changed. Across thousands of worlds, navigation screens suddenly went black for exactly 12 seconds. When the maps returned, every route had changed. It did not matter where a ship wanted to go: a mining colony, a peaceful moon, a military station, an unexplored nebula. Every path curved toward one small blue planet, Earth. At first, pilots believed it was a software error. Engineers restarted their systems. New maps were downloaded. Backup computers were activated. Nothing changed. Every safe route now ended at Earth. Panic spread across the galaxy. Some governments believed humans had hacked the navigation network. Others feared an unknown force had taken control of space itself. Trade stopped almost overnight. Hundreds of ships refused to leave their ports. On the Galactic Council world, emergency meetings lasted without rest. Among the many voices was an alien cartographer named Selan. For 40 years, Selan had studied the movement of stars and gravity currents. He trusted numbers more than rumors. Something about the new map did not make sense. The routes were not simply pointing toward Earth, they were avoiding something else. Using old navigation records, Selan compared yesterday's map with today's. A cold feeling ran through him. Between the stars, dark regions had appeared where no darkness had existed before. They spread silently across space like invisible oceans. The new routes bent around those regions before leading to Earth. It was not a mistake. The map was trying to keep everyone alive. Before Selan could report his discovery, every screen in the council chamber lit up with the same message: emergency broadcast from Earth. The human signal carried no fear, only one calm sentence: do not follow the old stars. They are no longer where you think they are. The chamber fell silent. No one understood how humanity had discovered the danger before the rest of the galaxy. And far beyond every known border, something enormous began moving between the stars. Unseen, but coming closer with every passing hour. The emergency message from Earth spread across the galaxy within minutes. Most governments did not believe it. Many leaders accused humanity of creating panic to gain political power. Some even claimed the strange star map was a human trick. But the ships that ignored the warning never reported back. One by one, they disappeared. There were no explosions, no distress calls. They simply vanished from every sensor. Selan, the alien cartographer, could not ignore the pattern anymore. He requested permission to travel to Earth with a small scientific team. The Galactic Council agreed, but only because they had run out of better ideas. Their research ship followed the new route exactly as the living star map suggested. The journey felt strange. Stars that should have been visible were missing. Familiar constellations looked different. Even time seemed to pass unevenly. Some crew members believed they had traveled for only 2 days, while the ship's clocks showed nearly 4. As they entered the solar system, every instrument suddenly became stable again. The strange distortions disappeared. Earth looked peaceful, as if nothing unusual had happened. Waiting in orbit was not a fleet of warships, but a group of human research vessels. They welcomed the visitors without weapons or threats. Leading the mission was Commander Elena Ward, a former deep space explorer. She greeted Selan with surprising calm. "You came before it was too late." Selan looked at her in confusion. "You already knew this would happen?" Elena nodded. "For years, our long-range observatories detected tiny changes in space between the stars. We thought they were natural. Last week, they started growing." She led the team into a massive observatory hidden beneath Earth's northern mountains. At its center floated a three-dimensional model of the galaxy. Dark waves slowly moved through it. They are not destroying space, Elena explained quietly. They are rewriting it. Before anyone could ask another question, the model suddenly changed. One bright line appeared, stretching from Earth to a distant part of the galaxy. Then another, and another. Hundreds of safe paths formed around Earth like the spokes of a giant wheel. A computer voice broke the silence. Navigation update complete. Then it spoke the words that froze everyone in the room. Earth has become the final stable anchor of the galaxy. Selan realized the star map had never been guiding ships to humanity. It had been guiding them to the last place where reality itself was still holding together. Silence filled the underground observatory. Selan stared at the glowing model of the galaxy. The dark waves continued to spread, slowly bending the stars around them. Every few minutes, another trade route disappeared forever. Commander Elena Ward folded her arms. There is something we have not told the Galactic Council. Selan looked at her. Why? Because we have no proof, only evidence. She touched the control panel. A new image appeared above the table. It was not a star, it was a pattern. Thin lines connected hundreds of distant suns, forming a giant design that could only be seen from outside the galaxy. It looked less like nature and more like careful engineering. Selan's eyes widened. This is impossible. It should be, Elena replied. No civilization could build something this large. Then Selan remembered something from his childhood. His grandfather had been the last member of an ancient order called the star cartographers. They believed maps were more than directions. They believed every route carried the memory of those who traveled it. Most scientists laughed at the old stories. Now they did not seem like stories anymore. Selan opened a small metal case he had carried for many years. Inside was an old crystal compass that had belonged to his grandfather. It had never pointed north. No one knew what it was designed to find. As soon as he placed it beside the galaxy model, the crystal began to glow. The needle did not point toward Earth. It pointed beyond Earth, straight into empty space. A hidden section of the map appeared. It had never been visible before. There was no star there, only a single symbol. A doorway. The observatory computer scanned the symbol again and again, but could not identify it. Then a forgotten recording suddenly activated from the crystal compass. The voice was old, calm, and clear. If this message has awakened, the roads are breaking. The maps were never made to show where stars are. They were made to remember where reality is safe. Every person in the room stood frozen. The dark waves were not invading the galaxy. They were erasing the invisible roads that connected space itself. Earth was only surviving because it sat beside something hidden since the beginning of history. A doorway that had never been meant to open. At that exact moment, the ancient symbol began to shine. Someone, or something, was trying to unlock it from the other side. No alarm sounded. No explosion shook the observatory. The glowing doorway simply became brighter. Everyone watched as the symbol slowly unfolded into a perfect circle of white light. It did not look like a machine. It looked like a hole cut into space itself. Then the light stopped growing. Nothing came through. Commander Elena Ward looked at the readings. There is no heat, no radiation, no gravity change. Selan stepped closer. His crystal compass was now perfectly still. It is waiting, he whispered. The observatory's oldest computer suddenly unlocked a group of files that had been sealed for almost 200 years. They were recorded by the first human deep space mission. The video began with a young astronaut standing beside a strange object floating beyond Pluto. "We found this during a navigation test," she said. "It isn't a planet or a station. It looks like a doorway." The recording skipped ahead. "Our instruments cannot measure it, but something very strange happened. We asked for a map home. The doorway showed us every safe path through the galaxy." The screen went black. The final sentence appeared in simple white letters. "Do not open it. Let it guide you. The recording ended. Elena took a slow breath. So humanity has known about this for generations. She nodded toward the glowing circle. Our ancestors chose to keep it closed. Before anyone could speak again, the doorway changed. Instead of opening wider, it projected thousands of moving lights into the room. Each light became the image of a different world. Some were home to insect-like civilizations. Others belonged to giant ocean creatures. Many had never contacted the Galactic Council. One by one, every image faded. Only Earth remained. Then a calm voice echoed from the doorway. Current count of surviving anchor worlds. A long pause followed. 1. The room fell silent. Selan finally understood. Earth had never been the center of the galaxy. It was simply the last world still connected to the original network that held reality together. If Earth failed, every remaining route between the stars would collapse. But then another message appeared beneath the first. Anchor restoration possible. Everyone looked at the words with hope, until the final line appeared. Required, a volunteer willing to become the living cartographer. No machine explained what that meant, and no one knew if such a person could ever return. The words remained above the doorway. A volunteer willing to become the living cartographer. No one spoke. The title sounded important, but also frightening. Commander Elena Ward asked the ancient computer a simple question. What is a living cartographer? For several seconds there was only silence. Then the calm voice answered. A mind joined to the road network, one guardian, one map, one purpose. Another image appeared inside the white circle. It showed a person surrounded by thousands of glowing lines. Each line stretched toward a different star. Whenever one line broke, the person gently guided it back into place. It was not controlling the galaxy, it was helping it heal. Selan suddenly remembered another story from his grandfather. The oldest cartographers believed every 1,000 generations, one traveler would hear the road speaking. They thought it was only a legend. Elena looked at him. Maybe it wasn't. Before anyone could continue, the observatory shook. Not from the doorway, from space. A warning appeared across every screen. Unknown object entering the solar system. The object was impossible to understand. It looked different from every angle. One telescope showed a sphere, another showed a bridge, a third showed nothing at all. It did not attack. It simply drifted toward Earth. As it moved, broken star routes behind it slowly became whole again. The dark waves stopped spreading wherever the object passed. Selan stared at the strange visitor. It isn't causing the damage. No, Elena said quietly. It is repairing it. The object finally stopped near the moon. A beam of soft blue light reached toward the observatory. Inside the light floated a single crystal, no larger than a human hand. The doorway immediately recognized it. Original cartographer seed identified. The crystal slowly landed in front of Selan. No one touched it. Then, without warning, the crystal spoke in a warm, gentle voice. Maps are not made from stars. They are made from trust. The roads cannot be repaired by one species alone. They must be shared. For the first time, Selan understood the real mission. The living cartographer would not belong to humanity or to the Galactic Council. It would guide every civilization equally. As the crystal grew brighter, the doorway revealed one final truth. There was already a living cartographer somewhere in the galaxy, and they were desperately trying to find Earth. The observatory became completely silent. Everyone stared at the glowing crystal. If another living cartographer already existed, then who were they? And why had they been searching for Earth? The ancient doorway answered before anyone could ask. A beam of light rose into the air and formed the image of a lonely traveler. The figure was neither human nor alien. Its body constantly changed shape, as if it reflected every civilization it had ever met. For countless ages, it had traveled alone between the stars. The calm voice explained, "This is the first cartographer. Long before the Galactic Council, long before the oldest empires, this guardian created the roads." The glowing map expanded across the room. It showed that the roads were never physical paths. They were stable regions of space where ships could travel safely. Without them, space became unpredictable. A journey of 1 week could become 100 years, or end without warning. For millions of years, the first cartographer quietly repaired those roads. But time had finally caught up with the ancient guardian. Its strength was fading. The crystal in front of Selan was not a weapon or a crown. It was an invitation. Not to replace the first cartographer, to help. Commander Elena Ward looked around the room. No one should carry the galaxy alone. Selan nodded. Then no one will. Instead of choosing a single guardian, humanity proposed something no civilization had imagined before. Every major species would send one navigator, one scientist, and one explorer. Together, they would become the circle of cartographers. The ancient doorway remained silent for several moments. Then it answered. Proposal accepted. Across the galaxy, the broken roads began to shine again. The living star map changed one final time. It no longer pointed every route toward Earth. Instead, it connected thousands of worlds to one another. Earth was not marked as the center. It was marked as the first meeting place. From that day forward, ships no longer traveled because one world commanded them. They traveled because many civilizations chose to protect the roads together. And the greatest human achievement was not conquering the stars. It was convincing the galaxy that the safest path is the one everyone builds together.